In this video, I'm going to demonstrate the creation of a black box device. And for this example, I'm going to use a GDU 700 from Garmin that was requested by a customer. I have a new library here that I just created, and also a new project with nothing in it except for a blank diagram. To start, I'll simply right-click on my new library, and if you are creating a black box or a component of your own, you could put it in any of your libraries. You don't have to start from a blank library. And I will select Add Black Box. I will call this GDU 700. In the Properties panel, I can fill in a part number if I have the Garmin part number for that device, which I don't see that in the install manual. Description, I'll call it a multifunction display or primary flight display. It can be either one depending on how it's configured, and the manufacturer is Garmin. Next thing I want to do is add connectors, and according to the installation manual there are 7 connectors. So I'll start by adding a connector, and I'm going to call this J1, which is how it's labeled on the device itself. J1 is a receptacle, and it has 26 contacts. And the family of this connector is Garmin High Density D-Sub. The next connector is going to have the same connector family and subtype, so I'm just going to copy J1, and I'm going to make more copies. So the first copy is going to be J2, and J2 has 44 contacts. Next copy is going to be J3, and J3 has 62 contacts, and the final one is J4 with 78 contacts. It has 3 TNC connectors, and those can be modeled as connectors or as conductor attach points, which is what we've done in our sample library. The first one is going to be J5, and I'm just going to put in as part number TNC. The description is going to be HD Video 1. And then I'm going to copy this 2 more times. J6 is going to be HD Video 2. And J7 will be GPS. Now I want to add contact labels. If I select the first connector and click the Contacts button, it pulls up this Contact Settings dialog, and here's where I can label each of the contacts. So to make that easier, I'm going to show you the PDF on one side of the screen, and I'm going to open Excel on the other side. And I'm going to open a blank workbook, and then I will click Data, Get Data from File and from PDF. And then I'll select this file, which is in my Downloads folder, and I'll click Import. Now Excel has gone through and picked out all the tables that are in this document. To start with, I want the table on the second page, and it's actually, this is the table for the J1 connector with 26 contacts, but contacts 1 through 13 are in one table and 14 through 26 are in a second table. So if I go to page 2, my first table corresponds to 1 through 13, and so I want to load that, but I also want table 4, which is pins 14 through 26. I'm going to select multiple items and then click tables 3 and 4 and load them. Now I've got 2 tables with 13 rows each. I will hover over the first one and then click these 3 dots, the meatball icon, and click Load to Table. And once I do, it puts that first table onto my spreadsheet with pins 1 through 13. Now I'll do the same for the second. I'll hover over it, click the meatball icon, Load to Table, and by default it will want to place it on top of the first one. So I'm just going to change the row number to 15. And there I have pins 1 through 26. I need to delete this header row, but I don't have that option, so instead I'm just going to hide it. That gives me all my labels. Now I'll just select all those labels, Control C to copy, and then back to Wiring Planner. I can select the first cell and press Control V, and that places all 26 labels. I'll do the same for J2. The pinout for J2 is on page 3. And go to page 3, 1 through 22, and 23 through 44. Now I can copy that column of 44 labels, then back to Wiring Planner, J2, click the Contacts button, paste, and now all the labels are there. Now that I've finished adding labels to all the contacts, this model is complete. So I will save. And then there's another component on this data sheet, and that's the GDU 1060, which is a larger display. So I've decided that in my description I'm going to add that it's a 7-inch display. But there's also a GDU 1060, which is a larger display, and it has identical pinout. So I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to change the copy name to GDU 1060 and change this to a 10.6-inch display. Now I have 2 new components in my library.